Story 1. The McDonald's Curse. I never thought a simple job at McDonald's would turn my life into a terrifying nightmare. It all started when I moved to a small town called Oak Ridge, looking for a fresh start. With limited job prospects, I applied to the local McDonald's and got hired immediately. Little did I know, this decision would change my life forever. On my first day, I noticed something peculiar about the restaurant. The atmosphere seemed heavy, and the employees whispered amongst themselves, avoiding eye contact. Curiosity piqued. I approached one of the veteran workers, Tom, to ask what was going on. He glanced around nervously before leaning in close, his voice barely above a whisper. "There's something wrong with this place. A curse, they say. Strange things happen at night." Intrigued and somewhat skeptical, I probed further, urging Tom to share the details. He hesitated, then began to recount the haunting tales that had circulated among the employees for years. Legend had it that the McDonald's in Oak Ridge was built on an ancient burial ground. The previous owners, unaware of the sacred land beneath, demolished the graves to make way for the restaurant. The spirits of the restless souls, angered by this desecration, cursed the establishment and all who worked there. Tom shared stories of employees disappearing without a trace, strange apparitions in kitchen, and unexplained accidents that seemed too coincidental to be accidents at all. He spoke of whispers echoing through the halls when the restaurant closed, and a feeling of being watched when working late shifts. Unsettled by these tales, I decided to investigate further. As the days turned into weeks, I paid close attention to the unusual occurrences around me. Doors creaked open on their own, fryers sparked without warning, and items flew off shelves without any apparent cause. It was as if the restaurant itself was alive, possessed by a malevolent force. One night, unable to resist my curiosity any longer, I stayed behind after closing hours. Armed with only a flashlight and a voice recorder, I ventured into the depths of the restaurant. As I crept through the dimly lit kitchen, a chilling breeze enveloped me, causing the hairs on the back of my neck to stand on end. Suddenly, I heard a low, guttural growl emanating from the walk. In refrigerator. I followed the sound, my heart pounding in my chest until I reached the door. Gathering my courage, I swung it open, revealing a scene straight out of a horror movie. Inside the refrigerator, the walls were covered in strange symbols, seemingly etched in blood. In the center of the room stood a grotesque figure, tall and skeletal, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. It stared at me, its voice echoing in my mind. "Foolish mortal," it hissed. "You dare to trespass upon our domain. Prepare to face the consequences." I stumbled backward, horror coursing through my veins. Before I could react, the figure lunged at me, its bony fingers outstretched. As its icy grip closed around my throat, I felt a surge of power, as if the curse itself was seeping into my very being. Gasping for breath, I awoke in my bed, drenched in sweat. It was all just a nightmare, I reassured myself. But as I sat up, I noticed a faint glowing mark on my wrist, a mark I had never seen before. Days turned into weeks, and the curse consumed me. Strange occurrences followed me wherever I went. I saw apparitions in the corner of my vision, and McDonald's logos seemed to warp and contort when I looked at them. The spirits of the cursed restaurant had marked me as their own. Tormented by their relentless presence, I sought out a local paranormal expert, desperate for a way to break free from the curse. The expert revealed that the spirits sought revenge for the desecration of their sacred ground. To appease them, we would need to perform a ritual to restore their resting place. Under the cover of darkness, armed with ancient relics and prayers, we ventured to the McDonald's. As we reached the cursed refrigerator, the spirits surged forward, their presence overwhelming. We chanted the sacred words, calling upon the spirits to find peace and forgive the sins committed against them. In a blinding flash, the cursed spirits vanished, leaving behind only an eerie silence. The curse had been broken, and I was finally free. But the experience had left an indelible mark on my soul, a reminder of the horrors I had witnessed. To this day, I cannot pass a McDonald's without a shiver running down my spine. The fast food chain that once symbolized joy and familiarity now holds a sinister aura in my mind. The McDonald's curse forever changed my life, serving as a haunting reminder that sometimes the darkness lurks in the most unexpected places. Story 2. the McDonald's abduction. Growing up in a quiet suburban town, my friends and I often found ourselves at the local McDonald's. It was the hub of our social activities, a place where we gathered after school and on weekends. But what began as innocent fun would soon lead us down a path of terror and mystery. One summer evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, my friends and I decided to visit McDonald's for our usual hangout session. The restaurant was unusually quiet that night, with only a few customers scattered throughout. We shrugged it off, assuming people were simply enjoying the warm weather elsewhere. As we chatted and indulged in our favorite menu items, an eerie silence descended upon the restaurant. The lights flickered and a chill permeated the air. We exchanged puzzled glances, wondering if a power outage was imminent. But what followed sent a shiver down our spines. A blinding flash of light illuminated the entire establishment, accompanied by a deafening noise that seemed to resonate within our skulls. Before we could react, an intense gravitational force yanked us off our feet, suspending us in midair. Panic surged through our veins as we were lifted off the ground, completely powerless. The next thing we knew, we found ourselves in an unfamiliar, sterile environment. Our senses slowly returned, and we realized we were inside a strange, otherworldly spacecraft. The walls emitted an eerie glow, and the air tasted metallic. Confusion and fear filled our hearts as we struggled to comprehend what had just transpired. Around us stood other abductees, people from different walks of life, all sharing the same bewildered expressions. As we exchanged stories, a common thread emerged. We had all been taken from various McDonald's locations around the world. It seemed the fast food chain had unwittingly become a hotspot for these inexplicable abductions. Days turned into weeks as we languished in captivity, subjected to bizarre experiments and tests conducted by our alien captors. We became pawns in their scientific endeavors, enduring physical examinations and mind-probing interrogations. The extraterrestrial beings seemed fascinated by human physiology and behavior, observing us with a cold detachment that sent chills down our spines. But within the confines of our prison, a glimmer of hope emerged. We discovered that certain objects from our earthly lives retained their normal properties in this alien realm. With newfound determination, we strategized and devised a plan to escape. In the dead of night, when the guards were least vigilant, we executed our daring escape. Using makeshift tools fashioned from mundane items, we overpowered our captors and navigated the labyrinthine spacecraft, racing against time to find an exit. The vessel's inner workings revealed strange technologies and passages that defied all human comprehension. We stumbled upon a control room, its screens filled with vast interstellar maps and data. It became apparent that the aliens had been using McDonald's as a means to study humanity, abducting unsuspecting customers for their research. As we reached the escape pod, the entire ship began to shake violently. The aliens had discovered our escape attempt and were determined to prevent us from leaving. With bated breath, we strapped ourselves in and launched into the void of space, hurtling toward Earth with a mix of relief and trepidation. We landed in a desolate area far from civilization. Bruised and battered, but filled with a newfound appreciation for our freedom, we stumbled out of the wreckage and made our way home. We vowed never to speak of our ordeal, fearing the skepticism and disbelief that would inevitably follow. Years have passed since that fateful night, and life has returned to a semblance of normalcy. But the memory of the McDonald's abduction remains etched in our minds, a reminder that, in the vastness of the universe, there are mysteries beyond our comprehension, lurking in the most unsuspecting places. And every time we drive past a McDonald's, we can't help but wonder if the abductions continue, forever hidden from the eyes of the unknowing world. Story 3. The Forgotten Playland. In a sleepy suburban town named Cresthaven, nestled among the quiet streets, stood an old and abandoned McDonald's restaurant. Its faded golden arches hinted at a forgotten era. But what truly intrigued the locals was the adjacent playland, an amusement park once bustling with laughter and joy. Rumors swirled about the demise of Playland, and as an amateur historian, I couldn't resist investigating the mysteries hidden within its decaying walls. One summer afternoon, armed with a camera and a sense of adventure, I stepped into the deserted playland. The air hung heavy with a nostalgic melancholy as the sounds of long-lost children echoed through the rusted attractions. My heart raced with anticipation as I sought answers to the park's sudden closure. As I roamed the dilapidated grounds, I discovered weathered signs and faded murals that depicted a vibrant past. It was as if time had frozen, preserving remnants of a forgotten era. But there was an unsettling undercurrent to the place, a feeling that something had gone terribly wrong. Curiosity drew me to an old ticket booth, its glass window shattered and its contents scattered on the ground. Among the debris, I discovered a yellowed newspaper article from decades past. It chronicled a tragic incident that had occurred at Playland, an accident that resulted in the deaths of several children. According to the article, a malfunctioning ride had caused a catastrophic failure, plunging unsuspecting children into a watery abyss. The incident shook the town to its core and spelled the end of Playland. It was abruptly closed, and the once thriving park transformed into a haunting reminder of its dark past. Deeply affected by this revelation, I delved further into the history of Playland. Stories emerged of phantom laughter drifting through the night, ghostly figures wandering the abandoned rides, and a sense of unease that gripped anyone brave enough to venture near. Some even claimed to hear the distant cries of children on particularly moonlit nights. Intrigued yet unnerved, I resolved to spend a night within the forsaken Playland, hoping to capture evidence of the paranormal activity that plagued the area. Armed with my camera and a recording device, I braved the desolate amusement park as dusk settled over the land. As the moon cast an ethereal glow upon the rusted Ferris wheel, I witnessed flickering lights and shadows darting among the carousel horses. Whispers filled the air, their words indecipherable, but their tone laced with sorrow. Goosebumps rose on my skin as a chilling breeze whistled through the deserted rides, carrying with it the weight of forgotten memories. Driven by both fear and fascination, I pressed on, guided by an invisible force that seemed to beckon me deeper into the heart of Playland. I arrived at the former site of the ill-fated ride, now a grim reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded. And there, in the silence of the night, I saw it. A spectral apparition of children, transparent and ethereal, laughing and playing as if caught in an eternal loop. I captured their images through my camera lens, capturing the essence of their restless spirits forever trapped in the abandoned amusement park. Yet, as I stood frozen in awe, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew colder, and a sense of malevolence seeped into the surroundings. From the shadows emerged a sinister presence, a figure cloaked in darkness. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and its voice, a chilling whisper, slithered into my mind. "You have trespassed into our domain," it hissed. "Now you shall pay the price." Fear gripped my heart as I realized I had awakened something far more dangerous than mere ghosts. I fled through the winding paths of Playland, the entity chasing me relentlessly. With each step, the world blurred, the surroundings morphing into twisted versions of their former self. I stumbled upon a hidden door, barely visible amidst chaos, and threw it open in desperation. Beyond the door lay a forgotten passage leading to a forgotten chamber. Gasping for breath, I slammed the door shut, severing the connection to the malevolent entity. In that hidden sanctuary, I discovered an ancient journal, its pages filled with rituals and incantations to banish the darkness that plagued Playland. Driven by a newfound determination, I devoted myself to unraveling the secrets within those ancient pages. With each ritual performed, the spirits of the lost children found solace, and the sinister entity grew weaker. Finally, I completed the last incantation, binding the malevolent presence forever. As the last echoes of the ritual faded away, a serene stillness settled over Playland. The ghostly apparitions of children vanished, replaced by a sense of peace. The abandoned amusement park, once filled with sorrow and despair, became a sanctuary of healing and reflection. Word spread throughout Crest Haven of Playland's transformation, a place where the lost souls of children had found their peace at last. Visitors flocked to the once forgotten site, not in search of thrills, but to pay homage to the spirits that now watched over the grounds. Playland had finally found redemption, and I, as its reluctant historian, had played a part in healing the wounds of the past. Yet even now, as I gaze upon the restored rides and hear the joyful laughter of children, I can't help but wonder if the spirits truly found eternal peace, or if there are still remnants of their presence hidden within the shadows of Playland's forgotten corners.